The life of Joe Montana, from small-town Pennsylvania to NFL Immortality. June 11, 1956. New Eagle, Pennsylvania, a small borough in Washington County, where coal mining towns dotted the landscape 25 miles south of Pittsburgh. Joseph Clifford Montana Jr. entered a world where football wasn't just a sport, it was religion. In western Pennsylvania, the same region that would produce Johnny Unitas, Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, and Joe Namath, another legend was being born. His parents, Joseph Montana Sr. and Teresa Marie Bavuso Montana, were Italian-American, the name Montana itself an Americanized form of Montani, tracing roots to the Camonica Valley in northern Italy. They raised their only child in nearby Monongahela, a working-class community where fathers came home from factories and mines, where mothers held families together through strength and sacrifice, where boys learned the value of hard work before they learned to read. Before Joe was even 1 year old, his father placed a baseball bat and ball in his infant hands. This wasn't symbolic. This was preparation. Joe Montana Sr. had dreams for his son, dreams that stretched beyond the coal-stained horizon of western Pennsylvania. He installed a basketball hoop in their driveway. He hung a tire from a tree branch, teaching young Joe to throw footballs through its center, developing the accuracy that would one day define a career. Every evening, Joe waited by the window for his father to return from work. The ritual never changed. Father and son playing catch, throwing spirals through the Pennsylvania twilight, working on footwork, perfecting mechanics. This wasn't recreation. This was education in its purest form. When Joe was 8 years old, his father committed his first crime in service of his son's future. He forged Joe's birth certificate, listing him as 9 years old so he could play in the local youth football league. The minimum age was 9. Joe Montana Sr. wasn't going to let bureaucracy delay destiny by a year. Young Joe took the field against boys older and bigger, learning early that size meant nothing compared to preparation and precision. But football wasn't Joe's first love. That honor belonged to basketball. At Waverly Elementary and later at Finleyville Junior High and Ringgold High School, Joe excelled at multiple sports. He batted .500 in Little League Baseball. He pitched 3 perfect games. On the basketball court, he was extraordinary enough to earn a scholarship offer from North Carolina State University based solely on his hardwood skills. At Ringgold High School, Montana was All-State in basketball, All-American in football, and an excellent baseball player. He was the kind of athlete that small towns built their Friday night dreams around. But it was on the football field where something different emerged, an almost supernatural calm under pressure that would become his defining characteristic. In 1973, Montana helped Ringgold win the basketball championship. His talent was undeniable. His future seemed set. North Carolina State wanted him for basketball. But when Notre Dame offered a football scholarship, Montana made the choice that would change sports history. He chose football. He chose South Bend, Indiana. He chose the Fighting Irish. Autumn 1974. The University of Notre Dame. The program was coached by the legendary Ara Parseghian, who had won national championships in 1966 and 1973. Montana arrived as a top prospect, but Notre Dame policy prohibited freshmen from playing varsity. He spent that first year on the freshman team, learning the playbook, developing patience, understanding that greatness couldn't be rushed. When Parseghian resigned in December 1974 due to health problems, Dan Devine took over. During the 1975 spring practice, Montana performed so well that Devine told his wife a statement that would prove prophetic. "I'm gonna start Joe Montana in the final spring game." When she asked who Joe Montana was, Devine replied, "He's the guy who's going to feed our family for the next few years." Montana's sophomore season brought his first taste of collegiate glory. Against North Carolina, with the Fighting Irish trailing 14-6 and just 5 minutes and 11 seconds remaining, Montana entered the game. He spent 1 minute and 2 seconds on the field. In that time, he threw for 129 yards, Notre Dame won 21-14. It was the first of many comebacks that would define his career. The following week against Air Force, Montana again entered in the fourth quarter with Notre Dame trailing 30-10. The Irish won 31-30. Notre Dame athletic director Moose Crawes called it the greatest comeback I've ever seen. The legend of Joe Montana, the comeback kid, was being written in real time. Montana's junior year brought the moment that would define his college career. In 1977, he entered the third game of the season as the third-string quarterback against Purdue. With Notre Dame trailing 24-14 and less than 11 minutes remaining, Montana led the Irish to a 31-24 victory. The gutsy performance earned him the starting job he would never relinquish. That season culminated in the 1978 Cotton Bowl on January 2nd. Notre Dame faced the number 1 ranked, undefeated Texas Longhorns. Montana was magnificent, leading the Irish to a 38-10 demolition of Texas and Notre Dame's national championship. The Fighting Irish had found their quarterback. America had found its next football hero. But Montana's college career had one more miracle to deliver. January 1st, 1979. The Cotton Bowl again, this time against the Houston Cougars. The conditions were brutal, ice and cold gripping Dallas. Montana, already suffering from the flu, saw his body temperature drop to 96 degrees Fahrenheit in the second quarter. With Houston leading 20-12, Montana retreated to the locker room where medical staff covered him in blankets, fed him warm chicken soup, and administered heated intravenous fluids. He returned late in the third quarter with Houston dominating 34-12. What happened next entered college football mythology. Montana led Notre Dame to 3 touchdowns in the final 8 minutes. With no time remaining on the clock, he threw the game-winning touchdown. Notre Dame won 35-34. The game became known simply as the Chicken Soup Game. Notre Dame produced a promotional film titled 7.5 Minutes to Destiny, though Coach Devine later admitted it was really a Joe Montana film. Despite a 25-4 record at Notre Dame and 2 Cotton Bowl miracles, NFL scouts remained skeptical. Montana was 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighed 195 pounds, modest by quarterback standards. Questions about his arm strength persisted. He was drafted in the third round of the 1979 NFL Draft, 82nd overall, by the San Francisco 49ers. Head coach Bill Walsh saw something others missed. He saw intelligence. He saw accuracy. He saw the intangible quality that separated good quarterbacks from legendary ones, the ability to remain calm when chaos erupted around him. Montana was perfect for Walsh's revolutionary West Coast offense, a system built on short, precise passes, timing routes, and quarterback decision-making. Montana made his NFL debut on September 16, 1979, against the Denver Broncos. He spent most of his rookie season as a backup, learning Walsh's complex system, studying defenses, preparing for the moment when opportunity would arrive. That moment came midway through his second season when he became the starting quarterback. January 10, 1982. Candlestick Park, San Francisco, the NFC Championship game against the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys, coached by Tom Landry, had posted 16 consecutive winning seasons. They were America's team, powerful and proud. The 49ers, under Walsh's third season, were the young upstarts, talented but unproven. With 58 seconds remaining and San Francisco trailing 27-21, Montana faced third down and 3 yards from the Dallas 6-yard line. The 49ers had driven 89 yards but now faced their greatest test. Walsh called sprint right option. Montana rolled right, looking for primary receiver Freddie Solomon. Solomon was covered. 3 Cowboys defenders, Too Tall Jones, Larry Bethia, and linebacker D.D. Lewis, chased Montana toward the sideline. He was out of room, out of time, seemingly out of options. Montana pump faked, getting the 6'9" Jones to leap into the air. In that split second of created time, Montana threw high toward the back of the end zone where wide receiver Dwight Clark stood. Clark leaped. His fingertips caught the ball inches from going out of bounds. Touchdown. 28-27, San Francisco. 58 seconds remaining. The play became known simply as the catch, immortalized in photographs showing Clark's outstretched arms, Montana's celebration, and 68.7 million viewers witnessing the moment that launched a dynasty. 2 weeks later, in Super Bowl XVI against the Cincinnati Bengals, Montana completed 14 of 22 passes for 157 yards and a touchdown. He also rushed for 18 yards and another touchdown. The 49ers won 26-21. Montana was named Super Bowl MVP. The skinny kid from western Pennsylvania had reached the summit, but he was just beginning the climb. The 1984 season brought perfection. The 49ers finished 15-1, the first team to win 15 regular season games. Montana earned his second consecutive Pro Bowl selection. In Super Bowl XIX against Dan Marino's Miami Dolphins, Montana was magnificent. He completed 24 of 35 passes for 331 yards and 3 touchdowns, adding 59 rushing yards and another touchdown. The 49ers crushed Miami 38-16. Montana's second Super Bowl MVP trophy joined his first. September 15, 1986 brought Montana's greatest challenge. A severe back injury during the season opener, a spinal disc injury in his lower back requiring immediate surgery. His doctors suggested retirement. Montana was placed on injured reserve. The prognosis was grim. But on November 6, Montana returned. In his first game back, he passed for 270 yards and 3 touchdowns in a 43-17 victory. The injury that should have ended his career became another chapter in his legend. The 1988 season tested Montana differently. A difficult year, injuries and inconsistent play led to a 6-5 start. Backup quarterback Steve Young, talented and hungry, threatened to take Montana's job. Montana refocused. The 49ers finished 10-6, reaching the playoffs. January 22, 1989. Super Bowl XXIII in Miami's Joe Robbie Stadium. The Cincinnati Bengals again. With 3 minutes and 10 seconds remaining and San Francisco trailing 16-13, Montana led the 49ers on the most famous drive in Super Bowl history. 92 yards, 11 plays. As the team huddled, Montana looked into the stands and said to offensive tackle Harris Barton, there in the stands, standing near the exit ramp, "Isn't that John Candy?" The moment captured Montana perfectly, finding calm in chaos, seeing humor in pressure. Montana completed 8 of 9 passes on the drive. With 34 seconds remaining, he threw a 10-yard touchdown to John Taylor. 20-16, San Francisco. Montana's third Super Bowl MVP award, his third championship ring. His legend grew to mythical proportions. January 28, 1990. Super Bowl XXIV against the Denver Broncos in New Orleans. Montana delivered perhaps the greatest Super Bowl performance in history. 5 touchdown passes, no interceptions, 327 passing yards. The 49ers demolished Denver 55-10, the largest margin of victory in Super Bowl history. Montana's 4th championship. His 4th Super Bowl without a single interception in 122 attempts. The greatest quarterback of his era, perhaps the greatest of all time. But his body was breaking. The NFC Championship game against the New York Giants in 1990 ended with Montana injured, knocked from the game that San Francisco lost. He missed nearly all of the 1991 and 92 seasons with an elbow injury. The 49ers moved forward with Steve Young. Montana's time in San Francisco was ending. April 20, 1993. The trade that shocked the NFL world. Montana, along with safety David Whitmore and a third-round draft pick, was sent to the Kansas City Chiefs for their first-round selection, 18th overall. Montana was 37 years old. Many believed his career was over. Montana believed otherwise. He signed a 3-year, $10 million contract with Kansas City, choosing the Chiefs over the Arizona Cardinals despite Arizona offering $5 million more. Montana wore number 19 with Kansas City, the number he wore as a child, the number where his football journey began. The 1993 season proved Montana's doubters catastrophically wrong. Despite battling injuries, he led the Chiefs to their first division title in 22 years, finishing 11-5. Kansas City won 2 dramatic playoff games before falling to the Buffalo Bills 30-13 in the AFC Championship game. Montana suffered a concussion during the game, forced to leave in the third quarter, but he had proven his magic remained. He earned his 8th and final Pro Bowl selection. The 1994 season brought Montana's farewell tour. He completed 61% of his passes, threw 16 touchdowns against 9 interceptions. In Week 2, Montana faced his former team and Steve Young in San Francisco. Montana won 24-17, beating the 49ers, who would go on to win the Super Bowl that year with Young at quarterback. Week 4 brought another classic quarterback duel. Monday Night Football. Montana versus John Elway and the Denver Broncos. Montana and the Chiefs won 31-28, 2 legends delivering one final masterpiece for a national audience. December 31, 1994. Joe Robbie Stadium, Miami. The AFC Wild Card playoff game against the Dolphins. Montana completed 26 of 37 passes for 314 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kansas City lost 27-17. Montana walked off an NFL field for the final time at age 38, his career complete, his legacy secure. The numbers told one story: 40,551 passing yards, 273 touchdowns, 32 fourth-quarter comeback victories, 4 Super Bowl championships, 3 Super Bowl MVP awards, 8 Pro Bowl selections, 2 NFL MVP awards, 0 interceptions in 4 Super Bowl games across 122 attempts, a Super Bowl passer rating of 127.8, the highest in history. But numbers couldn't capture the essence of Joe Montana. They couldn't measure the calm in his eyes when 2 minutes remained and his team trailed. They couldn't quantify the confidence he inspired in teammates, the fear he instilled in opponents. They couldn't explain how a quarterback with average size and good but not great arm strength became the greatest clutch performer in football history. Montana retired in April 1995. On December 15, 1997, the San Francisco 49ers retired his number 16 jersey. On July 29, 2000, in his first year of eligibility, Montana was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. His presenter was Edward DeBartolo Jr., the 49ers owner who had taken a chance on the skinny kid from Notre Dame. In his induction speech, Montana thanked his teammates, particularly Jerry Rice and Ronnie Lott, legends who had helped build the dynasty. He thanked Bill Walsh for believing in him. He thanked his family for their sacrifice. But mostly, he thanked the game that had given him everything. Montana's personal life brought its own victory. In the early 1980s, while filming a commercial for Skick Razors, Montana met Jennifer Wallace, an actress and model. She had no idea who Joe Montana was. Growing up, her family loved football, but Montana had never been on her radar. She was simply happy to work with someone as tall as she was. Montana was smitten. His first marriage proposal came during dinner. He wrote on the check, "What would you say if I asked you to spend the rest of your life with me?" Jennifer's answer was neither yes nor no. She hadn't considered marriage so soon. Montana, ever the optimist, noted, "I didn't get a no, so it's okay." His second proposal was more dramatic. He hired a plane to fly over their restaurant with a banner reading, "Jen, will you marry me?" This time, Jennifer said yes. They married on February 24, 1985. 39 years later, they remain together, a rarity in professional sports, a testament to genuine love and mutual respect. Joe and Jennifer have 4 children, 2 daughters, Alexandra and Elizabeth, 2 sons, Nate and Nicholas. Both sons followed their father into football, playing at the collegiate level. Alexandra attended law school. Elizabeth works in operations for an investing firm. The Montana family, despite Joe's fame, maintained normalcy, privacy, and strong values. Jennifer became a successful interior designer and jewelry designer. She founded Jennifer Montana Designs, donating 80% of proceeds to the Four Rings Foundation, which she and Joe established to help families and children across the Bay Area. Her charitable work extended to educational programs, healthcare initiatives, and disaster relief. September 26, 2020 brought an unexpected test of the Montana family's strength. A woman entered their Malibu home and attempted to kidnap their 9-month-old grandchild from a playpen. Joe and Jennifer confronted the intruder. After a struggle, Jennifer pried the baby from the woman's arms. Law enforcement arrested Sodsai Daltsell. The baby was unharmed. Even in retirement, Montana remained Joe cool under pressure, his wife equally courageous. Montana's post-football career flourished. He became a venture capitalist, co-founding Liquid 2 Ventures in 2015. He appeared in commercials, remaining one of the most recognizable athletes in America. He owned a wine estate in Northern California, pursuing his passion for food and wine. He raised horses with his family, competing as riders in various events. In 2006, 32 years after Montana graduated, Ringgold High School renamed their football stadium Joe Montana Stadium. The small-town boy who had learned to throw through tire swings now had his name immortalized where his legend began. San Francisco honored Montana by dedicating a street at the site of the former Candlestick Park, naming it Joe Montana Drive. Montana requested it be known as Montana Clark Drive, honoring his longtime teammate Dwight Clark, the receiver who made the catch, the friend who had helped build the dynasty, the man who passed away in 2018 after battling ALS. Montana appeared on ESPN's list of greatest athletes of the 20th century, ranking 25th. The Sporting News ranked him 3rd on their list of football's 100 greatest players. The NFL Network's list of the 100 greatest players in history placed him 4th. Sports Illustrated named him the #1 clutch quarterback of all time. But perhaps Montana's greatest legacy isn't measured in championships or statistics. It's measured in the countless quarterbacks who studied his game, learning that arm strength mattered less than accuracy, that size mattered less than intelligence, that the greatest plays often came from the calmest minds. Tom Brady, who grew up in the Bay Area idolizing Montana and attended the catch game as a 4-year-old, built his own legendary career on Montana's template, remaining calm under pressure, making smart decisions, elevating teammates, winning championships. Brady eventually surpassed Montana's Super Bowl total with 7 championships, but he never denied that Montana was the standard against which all quarterbacks were measured. Montana's story resonates because it contradicts everything modern sports values. He wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the strongest. He wasn't the fastest. NFL scouts questioned his arm strength. He was drafted 82nd overall, behind quarterbacks whose names are forgotten to history. But he became the greatest because he mastered what couldn't be measured: composure, intelligence, leadership, and an almost supernatural ability to perform when everything was at stake. The boy who waited for his father to come home so they could play catch. The kid whose father forged a birth certificate to let him play football. The teenager who chose Notre Dame over a basketball career. The college quarterback who led miraculous comebacks. The 3rd-round draft pick who revolutionized his position. The champion who won 4 Super Bowls without throwing a single interception. The legend who remained married to his wife through nearly 4 decades. The father who raised 4 successful children. The philanthropist who gave back to communities. the businessman who thrived after football, the icon who never forgot his roots in small-town Pennsylvania. Joe Montana's life proves that greatness isn't about physical gifts. It's about preparation meeting opportunity. It's about remaining calm when others panic. It's about believing in yourself when others doubt. It's about loyalty to teammates, family, and values. It's about grace in victory and dignity in defeat. From the coal mining towns of western Pennsylvania to the bright lights of Super Bowl glory, from a father playing catch with his son to 4 championship rings, from doubted prospect to unanimous legend, from Joe Cool to forever immortal. The story of Joseph Clifford Montana Jr. is ultimately a story of American possibility. It's proof that in the greatest moments, on the biggest stages, under the most intense pressure, sometimes the calm prevails. Sometimes the prepared triumph. Sometimes the underestimated become undeniable. Montana's Montana magic wasn't magic at all. It was thousands of hours of practice. It was a father's dedication. It was a mother's support. It was coaches who believed. It was teammates who executed. It was a wife who stood beside him. It was children who grounded him. It was work ethic that never wavered and confidence that never broke. And on those perfect Sunday afternoons, when the game hung in the balance and the clock was running down and the defense was coming and the crowd was roaring and everything was chaos, Joe Montana would drop back, survey the field with those calm eyes and deliver. Always deliver. That was his gift. That was his legacy. That was Joe Montana. The greatest clutch quarterback of all time. The man who proved that heart matters more than height, that preparation conquers pressure, and that sometimes the kid from small-town Pennsylvania really can become football immortal. 4 rings, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 league MVPs, 1 legend. Forever Joe Cool.